Hello everyone, this is DDWitchR1 here, and today I'm going to be showing you something that is probably one of the most significant pieces in my collection. This is an early prototype of the Gemmy life-size Dawn of the Dead prop from 2007. And when I mean early, this thing is very early. This thing is just built so primitively on the inside, and I'm just kind of already at a loss for words. I mean, there's just so much amazingness about this. So a lot of people have been requesting a video of this for some time, but when I found this initially, I basically found it in a field. And I'm not joking, there was like this really wet towel that was laying on top of it, and I pulled it back and I saw basically her corpse, her remains. Um, Her legs were gone, her base was gone. One of the feet was there, the other was gone. Um, Her dress was there, and basically all the torso, but the dress was soaking wet. It was faded a little on one side. There were like termites crawling all over her dress. It had rained recently, so that's why everything was so wet and soggy. Um, and there was no head. This thing could not have been in worse condition. Um, there was that other prototype Donna that people have known about for a few years in Australia. That one had the head and the base, but was in a different way just as bad as this one. This one had what the other one was missing and vice versa. But incredibly enough, again, CJ Webley, you're going to hear his account name in many of the videos that I make because he is just so incredible at what he does. He managed to make me a new head based off of the old one. So once again, she has a head. She already needed to get a new base. The feet that she has are production grade. They're like that vinyl material, but they're painted to match the resin hands. But yeah, this is just truly one of the most incredible pieces I own, and I'm sure you are really interested in seeing some up-close detail, so I will go ahead and do that. So there is her face, and man, does it look incredible. The old sculpt for the head would have been vinyl in production, like the Butler heads, and it would have matched the hands and the feet on the produced ones. But in production, well, first of all, they wanted to make her look younger because of the Dawn of the Dead lore. She was like this kind of edgy high schooler, and they thought that the face looked a little too mature. So they made the new face, and then for production to save money, because Donna would retail, like not the spirit one, but the regular one would retail for like $70, $80 at some places. I mean, she was kind of a low cost item compared to like the collapsing 6-foot characters with all the movements. And to match that price point, they made the younger head regular plastic, and it's this kind of unnatural yellowish color, and it doesn't match the hands and feet at all in production. So the head alone for this is just incredible. And this is a resin head. You can see those eyes, which are very intimidating looking. And her mouth. Just a really well done sculpt, honestly. She has very profound cheekbones. The produced head that's supposed to be younger does not. Yeah, this is solid resin right here. The dress is pretty similar to production, although there is a button that is on the sleeve here It's a bit faded, but it's still there. And a lot of the early prototype Donnas have that. In fact, in the stock photo for the white dress one, you can see the button. Here's her base. The early prototypes had a shiny base, like the 2006 flat base pirate skeleton in Santa. She has a label there. She did not originally have a label, but now there is one. You can see her feet. There's a lot of kind of little bits of, debris on the base, which, especially on a shiny base, that shows up a lot easier, but I'll clean that off after this video. This thing was back in my possession like yesterday. But yeah, and sorry I'm talking a little slower than I normally do, but the structure of this thing, and I can't really show it in the video, but it's completely different from a produced Donna, because it's like a 5-foot dancing pirate skeleton body shell in a way, but it's all cut up and reattached in certain places. It's very thrown together, and then the mechanism itself has like that pink stuff all over it. It's very different from production. And her audio is the audio. I mean, this is basically the same, built the same, and programmed the same as the factory video of the Spirit Halloween one with the head and the knife. Essentially, if I attached a head and knife to her, this would be like the exact same. Although that one had the kind of bluish eyes instead of this color. But that's pretty insane. So this is basically a prototype of that one in the factory video. They're built very similar on the inside. But the audio is incredible. The cosmetics are incredible. I could not be happier. It's so satisfying to know that this thing is in this condition once again. And also shout out to the channel Gemmy Addiction. He posted his Donna. That is the one from Australia, and it's incredible that out of all the people that tried to get that thing, he managed to do it. Took a lot of effort, cost him a lot of time and whatnot, but I think it was worth it in the end. And I'm very thankful that he got it, also because it enabled mine to have a legit sculpt resin head once again. For a while I had a modified produced head on there, and it just really was such a different vibe. But this is the head that this body was intended to have. But I guess I'll show the hands before I stop talking. This is a life cast, which means it was a real person's hand that they casted. And then in production it will be vinyl. That's how like some of the butler hands are and whatnot. And on produced it still looks really good. But this is resin, so it's got even a little more detail than produced, which produced already looks really great, but this, you can see just how real this hand looks. You can see all of the little details in the skin. We'll show this one. I mean, just look at that. It's incredible. Nothing short of incredible. And you can see that this was reattached at some point because the dress had to be washed, but that's how the button was wired in there. But yeah, I have nothing else to say, but I will demonstrate it for you now. So here we go. Yeah, the way she moves is incredibly different from production. First of all, the arms are on springs, so they actually kind of flail around, which is a neat effect. And then the way it moves with the very early mechanism, it's all just kind of sporadic. It's not as easily predictable. And in some places she kind of stops, in other places she picks up. If you watch the factory video, you'll see that that one moves in a very similar way, but it's a little different because of all the weight from what she's holding. But this is nothing short of incredible. And I'm just incredibly honored that I was involved in bringing this back to life. And although, of course, most of the work was done by CJ Webler, but it's not all about me, guys. Like, it's not all about me owning the thing per se. A big part of it is just the satisfaction of knowing that history is preserved and revived. There are countless examples of things that I own where it was like a really significant prototype and there was just barely enough left to work with, like the bow tie zombie guy that I have. It's incredible his head was still around. There were so many holes in it. There was just barely enough left to where it looks presentable, and it's completely restored. And there's just other examples too. Scrooge. I mean, there's just so many. And that's one of the best parts about all of this, in my opinion, about what I do, is just working with a great team to be able to preserve history. So that way, people that never got to witness it can. And with all of the hard, incredible work that CJ Wilbur does, I would easily say he's one of the best collectors in history of this stuff. He's the best in the world at reviving it, restoring it. What he does, he tries to make as accurate to the history as possible. And it's nothing short of incredible, honestly. This is probably one of the most exciting videos. I know I don't sound like it. It's kind of late at night, but one of the most exciting videos to ever make. Because this is an iconic classic Gemmy character, and here she is as she was originally intended. And for the video, I'll position her hair forwards, like the white dress stock photo one has the hair in front, and that one was one of the first ones ever made. But you can see there she is with the hair in the front. I've kind of had it in the back because that's how the stock photo black dress with head and knife was. She's a little creaky there, you can tell, but also her hair does not suck. Like, the produced ones have some of the worst wigs I've ever seen. There's just so many large gaps and holes where you can just see her head. But this is a proper wig right here. Could not be happier with this. It's just so surreal. And I'm really honored to be a part of it. Thank you, CJ Webler. Thank you, Gemmy Addiction. Thank you to everyone that helped make this possible, for this video to be able to happen today. And I know it's a long one, but I hope you all enjoy this. And if you want to see any more about this, if there's enough demand, I can show the inside mechanics. It's just all incredible. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.